sometimes I think that people just want someone to understand what they're going through.
Yeah.
Like, just like a few episodes back where Tiffany's talking about, why can't I cry? You have somebody being like, oh, don't cry. Or, oh, it's not that bad. Or, oh, well, look at the bright side.
Yeah.
Well, I ain't worried about the damn bright side right now. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Unheard of with myself, Evan Brooks, and my cousin Nick here. Man, first and foremost, shout out to the Lake Show. We had to represent. Yeah. We had to represent, man. You know what I'm saying? I would have worn my Kobe jersey, but since you wearing yours, I ain't even.
I mean, we know that I love Kobe more than you do. So
this is blasphemy, but go ahead, bro. You can have that tonight. But nah, shout out to the Lake Show, man. They did a hell of a job, and just happy to be on top again. But tonight, man.
What's going on, my brother?
Bro, I've heard a lot of rumblings about a negative attitude sometimes. And so I thought we should talk about these things before we get into that.
You mean with you?
From time to time, bro.
Oh, yeah.
From time to time, man.
A little familiar with that.
Look, before we get into all that, man, how's your week been? Or how was your weekend? It's early on still, so.
It's been all right. Just trying to take care of some things. Side business stuff, regular job stuff. Trying to make plans for the rest of the year and, do what we got to do. How about you, man?
Sounds boring. No, I'm just
this guy.
Nah, man. Hey, things are pretty good on my side, man. I can't get into too much detail about the personal life, but we making moves. You part of those moves outside of this, of course. So we'll update people on that later. Yeah. But
stay tuned on that.
Yeah. But right now, man. Like I said, I just want to get into this discussion. Yeah. So what we have for you guys today, we want to talk about the fine line between a positive attitude and toxic positivity. This toxic positivity. It's a real thing. I don't know if you guys have heard of it, but when I actually started seeing things about it and reading up on it a little bit, it made so much sense, and I couldn't wait to bring it to this guy.
I'll be honest. I give him a lot of flack because we have personal conversations off camera, of course, and I let it be known to him sometimes that he could be a little bit of a grouch, but
I'm a realist, period. I'm a realist.
But we wanted to bring this conversation to you guys because, I think it's something we all can relate to, especially in the time right now, man. Dealing with the pandemic and what's going on with politics. And it's just a lot of crap going on. It's really hard to kind of keep a level head,
It is. And the funny thing about it is throughout everything that's going on right now, I actually, on the flip side, and one that does try to keep a positive mindset.
Yeah.
But like I said, there's a fine line. So it's a matter of things that are affecting me that I have no control over versus, honestly, it's just about how things are affecting me, I think.
Right.
Because there are things that I have no control over that will still bother me. That can be health. That can be the way somebody else's life is going or something like that, somebody close to me. There are things we have no control over that will still bother us.
Right.
But there are things that are I think it's things that are so far away or that seem so far in the distance that you just kind of be like, well, what are you going to do?
Do you feel like that more so attributes to maybe the realism that you feel as far as how you think about the topic, or is it the things that you can control where you just feel sort of helpless about, where it's you feel like you can control it, but
yeah, I think it's the ones that you feel like you should be able to control it, or in your mind.
Right.
You know, like I said, health, like, you know, a lot of people know at this point I have health issues that have stopped me from playing basketball, and that was my passion, of course.
Yeah.
And things like that from time to time I'll get down about, because in my mind I feel like, you know, I'm a 28-year-old man, I should feel perfectly fine.
Right.
But I don't feel perfectly fine all the time.
Yeah.
So that can be troublesome in my mind. But something like the things that are going on in the world, they're just, I feel like there is a larger agenda a lot of times. And so there are things that I feel like are designed to intentionally get to me that I won't allow to get to me. So it's, I don't know, I'm kind of weird.
You do though.
Like what?
Come on, man. We be talking off camera all the time. Like I feel like a lot of times when something's happening to you, you have a tendency to go straight to what the worst outcome could be, as opposed to what the potential positives could be out of it. And that's the biggest kind of pushback me and him have, because I much more tend to be more optimistic than pessimist. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or realism. I mean, I think you have to be realistic. You have to have a sense of realism, of course.
Got to.
But at the same time, going straight to the worst possible outcome is not going to benefit you. Like, I know we kind of go back and forth about mindset and energy. That's something that we go talk about, because Evan hates when people be talking about like negative energy.
Oh man, don't even, bro. See, you done already brought it up. Now look, this is the thing. I can't stand, like, don't get me wrong, I want positive vibes around me too. But I feel like this new wave of everybody just being like, if it ain't a positive vibe, get that away from me. Like that type of, bro. Like, what do you do when your friend comes to you with a problem? Do you say, keep that shit over there? No.
Yeah, that's true.
You're going to have to get out of your little positive bubble and come back to reality and help your friend out. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
and that is just, that's just a small portion of it, to be honest. Like, that's somebody else's issues. Now, when it comes to your own issues, I can have a plethora of issues and decide that they're not issues, but that doesn't change what they are. Like, if I got bills or credit score issues or whatever,
right,
and I don't know how I'm going to get myself out of it, of course I'm going to be down in the dumps.
Yeah.
Now, that ain't my situation right now, but I've been there before. You know what I mean? I've been there. So, of course, you're going to feel a way about that, because that's just human nature. So all that, like, just negative energy and blah, blah, blah. Like, no, people go through real shit sometimes, man. Yeah. That's it.
I mean, do you feel like it's selfish in a way to have that mindset?
To have the mindset of, like,
keep that negative energy away?
It's extremely selfish.
Yeah,
it's beyond selfish in my opinion. If there was such a thing,
I think it just, obviously, I think it's situational. I think if you have people in your life that bring nothing but that,
don't,
you know what I mean?
For sure. I'm not gonna sit here and act like I just upwelcome all negativity and all that stuff. Like, no, definitely not. There are people who are constantly negative and seriously pessimistic.
Right.
I mean, that can go to parents, for example, who think that every single time you step out the door, you're going to die. Like, we got to live our lives. Stop tripping. You know what I mean? But to not be able to empathize when somebody's going through something.
Yeah.
I do not feel like it's our job to say, whether or not they should feel a way about what they're going through, just because we may not feel that same way.
Right.
Just because we wouldn't, maybe we're tougher in the mind, but our experiences don't match everybody's experiences.
Yeah, and everybody's degree of mental toughness is different.
Right. And I mean, just because somebody's going through something that may put this negative aura around them, it doesn't mean that that's about to rub off onto you. You know what I mean? Like, I don't believe that either.
I mean, I think that it can. Because here's the thing. It's like, you know, birds of a feather flock together, right? It's like if you're around a certain group of people and they doing certain things, you're kind of more likely to step into those things with the crowd that you keep. I'm not necessarily like that. I kind of walk to the beat of my own drum. You know what I mean?
Right.
But I'm not pulled by peer pressure. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So the way that I think about things is really authentic to me, and I don't really get persuaded easily, to be honest with you. But at the same time, I think in regards to, you know, your thoughts and your emotions and how you think about things, I think it's more so about when you're thinking positively about something, it allows you to get in the mind frame of fixing the problem in a healthy way.
This is my thing with that. You have to first acknowledge the problem in order to fix it.
Definitely.
And that's where that's pretty much my whole point, bro, is like people act like problems are just going to go away by just maintaining a positive attitude. Like, no, you have to address the problem.
Right.
And there is no way in hell that you're going to be positive the entire time while addressing an issue. Yeah, especially, you know, depending on the severity of the issue.
I mean, but there's a difference between acknowledging something and like taking it to a conclusion.
Of course.
I have an issue with taking it to a conclusion. Like, of course, let's say, you know, you got bad credit, right? Let's say you just, I don't know, you got an eviction or something. Mm-hmm. It's like, okay, I just got evicted from my apartment. My credit is shot. My life is over. You ain't got to say your life is over.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you can acknowledge what is there, but then be like, you know what? My credit is shot. I just got evicted. All right, what do I need to do to get myself out of this hole? Do I need to go see a financial advisor? Do I need to go, you know, take a financial literacy course? Do I need to get another job? What's the course of action? You know what I mean? Because if you're staying stuck in what you're wallowing in, you're not going to have the mind frame of getting out of the situation.
Yeah, definitely.
That's what I have a problem with as far as the line.
Definitely. I think that everybody should be afforded a short period of time to kind of sulk a little bit if they need to.
Yeah.
Because it's only human. That's the way I see that. I mean, it's only human. But you only get so much time. Because after a certain point of time, then that's where that keep that negative energy away from me stuff becomes valid.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's...
I mean, you know how I am, man. You get a couple of times to complain to me about something, but if you're still doing the same thing that gets you in that situation, I'm sorry. It's only so much empathy I can give you.
Yeah.
Because it's like you're putting yourself in that situation.
Yeah. I wanted to ask you, though, and I may be jumping back a little bit, but... like, what do you think people are so scared of when it comes to their energy being brought down to a certain level? What do you think is the fear of that? Like, people literally speak as if they are scared. Yeah, like they are scared of that. Like they are scared of not being happy all the time. Like, bro, who are you fooling first and foremost? Well, I guarantee you a lot of you people talk about like how, you know, positive vibes and blah, blah, blah. You look in the mirror and feel ugly sometimes.
Yeah.
For real. If we're going to keep it 100, like you are looking in the mirror sometimes, you don't like what you see. Or you look at your situation, whatever it may be. They say more money, more problems. So you got the rich of the rich still stressed out about stuff.
Definitely.
We all got issues.
Yeah.
So all that positive vibes all the time thing, I of course, there are going to be people who get to enjoy life a lot more than those who don't have the resources to enjoy it like that, but we all got issues to a certain level.
Oh yeah, but I'll give you this to think about, and this is how I kind of relate to it. Let's just be honest, man. Life is fucking tough.
It is.
Okay.
It is.
You know, I'm only barely scratching 24. I feel it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think the mental component where that comes in is I need to feel as mentally strong and mentally capable of withstanding life's ups and downs as best as I possibly can. So if you are in my head giving me a thought or an emotion that doesn't tie into my brain being capable of withstanding those ups and downs, then of course I'm going to feel like, you know, fearful, or I'm going to question my ability to adapt and get out of situations. So I think it's fear-based, because people know, like, dude, like, this is tough.
So what I'm hearing from you right now is that people's fear of negativity stems from their own insecurity.
Absolutely. It's insecurity. It's uncertainty.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, man, we all just figuring this thing out.
Of course.
You know what I mean? Like, I can't say that I got it more figured out than you. You can't say you got it more figured out than me.
Right.
We are a product of our own thoughts and emotions.
Right.
So how we think about life is how we're going to move through life.
Yeah.
So that's when I talk about, like, okay, problem solving. That's why I can acknowledge when I'm having issues. Like, I've had a tough ass year, you know that. And I can acknowledge what I've gone through.
Right.
I have no problem doing that. But when you wallow in it for so long, you start to lose that hope. Hope is the only thing that's going to get you out of that circumstance.
That's true. And I mean, it's like, I still feel like words of encouragement, though, there's a fine line there too. Because on one hand, you feel like, rather than telling somebody, you know, get over it,
right,
or in whatever way you would tell them to do that, you should probably offer them words of encouragement to feed that hope,
right,
help boost it. But at the same time, sometimes I think that people just want someone to understand what they're going through.
Yeah.
Like, just like a few episodes back where Tiffany's talking about, you know, why can't I cry? You have somebody being like, oh, don't cry. Or, oh, it's not that bad. Or, oh, well, look at the bright side.
Yeah.
Well, I ain't worried about the damn bright side right now.
Yeah.
I'm not on the bright side.
Yeah.
I'm on the dark side. So I'm trying to get to the bright side. And there is a level. I mean, I'm guilty of this too. And I actually saw this and I was like, wow, so this is a real thing.
Yeah.
Like, every single time I think about my health, I end up, it leads me to a place where I say, well, I wouldn't necessarily say every single time I think about my health, but it's like, it's almost sick in a way to me that, like, I will see somebody who is clearly worse off than I am, and I will think about my own situation and feel grateful that I'm not as messed up physically as this person. And on one hand, that's a good thing. I should feel grateful. But on the other hand, like I said, there are times when I think about my situation and I'm like, well, you don't got it that bad, Ev. So
yeah,
it's cool. But it's like, I mean,
that's a tough area to be in, because I feel where you're coming from. I mean,
I'm just saying, it's like a level of being content with, it's trying to learn to be content with not being able to have what you want, which I don't know how healthy that is. Like, I guess it is.
I mean, it's just like counting your blessings. You know, people say count your blessings. Like, okay.
Yeah, it's a weird
But
thing.
Let me ask you this. So if I say, let's say you're venting to me about something, and I say, okay, Ev, I hear you. You know, this, blah, 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 blah. But I'm like, but look at the bright side. You have this. Does look at the bright side to you feel like a dismissal of your feelings and emotions?
Facts.
Or
that's exactly what that is.
Is that how it feels?
That's exactly what that is. Now, I don't look too deep into it.
It doesn't feel like that to me.
Yeah. I mean, what does it feel like to you?
I feel like you're trying to help me get out of it.
Yeah. And I agree with that. But I think that it just depends on the person's mood, and that's a slippery slope too, because you obviously you can't tell.
Now, don't get me wrong. If I had like a really tragic, like someone passed away that I'm really close to, and like something just happened, I don't want to hear that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm talking about like more kind of surface level complaints of life, like not the really traumatic stuff. I mean, like, you're having a tough time right now. You're unhappy. Maybe you got a broken heart. You know what I mean? Whatever. Like, something more.
Yeah, something.
Not
like
saying that broken hearts aren't serious, but you know.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, something like that. That's what I'm saying. It's we can't make the decision for somebody how much something should affect them.
True.
So it's like, if they feel a certain way, I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm guilty of it too. Like, if I feel like somebody's tripping over nothing, I'll be like,
I mean, we all do.
Yeah,
because like, we just comparing it to us.
Yeah, but we do need to try to have a deeper understanding for somebody. Like, I've reached a point where, and I think you and I both have, where we may see somebody's actions, things that they may say, things that they may do, and our first thought isn't that it's, well, maybe the first thought is that it's weird, but right after that, we're like, well, why?
Exactly.
You know, like, why are they acting this way about this topic or feeling this way about this thing? It's why.
Right.
Trying to have an understanding about it before just being judgmental.
Right.
So that's allowing them, I think, asking the question why is allowing them to have their process rather than just being like, you shouldn't have it.
Yeah.
You know, you shouldn't feel this way. Like, allow them to have that process, because it could be rooted in a lot more other stuff.
Here's how I look at it, though. And I've known people who, you know, and you have, I'm sure as well, who have struggled with depression. And, you know, we all have our issues with our mental health and just kind of keeping our mind right. But the way that I think about those types of circumstances is, okay, if someone's venting to me, I'm just a natural fixer, man. It's hard for me to like hear somebody's problem and just shut up. It's really hard for me. I can admit that. Like, in my relationships, I've gotten flack for it. It's like, I just want you to hear me. It's like, it's hard for me to do that, because if I feel like I can help you, I gotta give that to you. Because I think about situations where I've known people who have taken their life because someone either may not have been there, or maybe, I mean, obviously those types of situations, like, there's more kind of serious mental health issues going on.
For sure.
But I just think about, okay, like, was there someone there that could have helped them and maybe they didn't? Or were they crying out for help and someone wasn't necessarily there as much as they could have been?
Yeah.
You know, I just think like that personally. So I can't, it's just hard for me to like have a conversation and not offer what I feel like can potentially benefit you.
Yeah. I mean, I agree. I have the same mindset when it comes to situations like that, with somebody being suicidal or something like that, where I wonder what could have prevented it.
Yeah.
Something that I've learned is that people can't take the blame for it.
Yeah.
We can't, like...
That's much bigger than us.
Yeah, it's much bigger than us, and we have no idea of even knowing, like, this person... A lot of people... Because I knew somebody who took her life, too, in college, and it was sad, but I don't think anybody saw that coming. Now, I didn't know the girl personally. Well, I knew her personally, but I wasn't close enough to her that I knew what was going on in her relationship.
Right.
But there was some domestic violence going on that ultimately led to her taking her own life.
Right.
And if you didn't know that, it came as a huge shocker.
Right.
Because she seemed like such a happy-go-lucky person.
Right.
And that was when I learned that you just can't always know.
Yeah.
We know as much as somebody lets us know.
Yeah, definitely.
And if they don't tell people about their struggles or their battles, or if they don't even show that they're upset,
right,
then nobody's even going to know to ask. And at that point, it's like, well,
yeah,
But yeah, I mean, it's just not always easy to help somebody who may be going through something, because we just don't always know. Now, if they bring it to your attention, then yeah. But that's the thing, though. That's what I'm saying. That's where that toxic positivity comes into play, where somebody may come to you with an issue that you really don't think is such a big deal. Yet, behind closed doors, they are bugging out.
Yeah.
They're tripping. They feel some type of way, and it's not to say that they don't have the right.
Right.
It's that you don't realize how it's affecting them.
Exactly.
And as soon as people are like, oh yeah, it'll be fine, or so-and-so will come around next week, or, just whatever the case may be, those belittling responses to it, they can cause somebody, of course, they don't want to stress people out.
Yeah.
People, I mean, it's very hard to go to burden. Exactly. Yeah. It's very hard to go to somebody with your problems, especially one who's always hollering about keep that negative energy away from me. Seriously. So, that's true. So people don't want to burden people with that stuff. And so they have to keep it all in. And then when they finally do get it out, if the response is something like, oh, it'll be okay, something that kind of brushes it off, then that's not doing anything. That just...
I'll be honest with you, though. Like I said, it's fine lines and it's situational. But I don't tend to see good things come out of seeing someone play out the emotional and
process.
Yeah, it's like I mean I've seen it, don't get me wrong, but a sustained, like, I don't see sustained change behavior and thought process after that. Like what I tend to see is what I tend to see is it kind of creates a pattern of going back to that mind state. So for me,
almost using it as like an excuse.
No, but it's not even an excuse because it's not deliberate. It's just unconscious. Mm-hmm. I'm not saying people are doing it on purpose, but I think there's only so much allowing of yourself to go through that process that you can do. Mm. I think there has to be a point where you force yourself to, all right, it's time to, like,
and that's what I said
snap
earlier.
Out of it.
Yeah, that's what I said earlier. Like, I think people should be afforded a little bit of time, however much time. Well, not however much time, but they should be afforded some time to sulk a little bit if need be. Like,
but the question is what's that measurement? How much?
Yeah.
Can you sulk? Is it 2 weeks? Is it 2 days? Is it 2 months?
But it's like, how do you measure
what if that turns into 2 years?
Right.
What if that turns into 10 years?
Right. But the thing about it is that it's just hard to put a measurement on these things, because there are things that will happen to people that in the moment may not cause them such grief. It may not cause them much harm.
Yeah.
But then they look back on it a year later or something and see how it has affected their lives. And now this becomes it finds a home in their mind,
right,
in their thought process. And now they're living their life based on this thought, this thing that didn't used to bother them so much, but now it does because it plays a role in what's going on in their life today. And so it's like it's hard to really say how long something can be, because I mean, what are we going to grieve the same over losing a boyfriend or girlfriend as we do over the death of a family member or something like that?
Maybe not.
You know?
Yeah.
So I think it's all dependent on it's situational. But there's still, of course, at the end of the day, the show must go on.
Yeah.
You know? So it's like, the thing I always tell myself is like, look, you got to keep living, right? Then, like, yeah, okay, this sucks, whatever it is, it sucks.
Yeah.
But you have to figure it out. Like, so I may be in a messed up headspace for a little bit while I'm going through physical pain and stuff like that. But I deal with it. I always come out of it. And so over time, getting through each little battle or whatever and finding new ways and educating myself on ways that I can hopefully improve it, it helps. Over time, it becomes more routine, and you learn to find the silver lining in it. But that's my own process.
I mean, for you, where does faith come in to that? Because I think, and that's a water hole right there. But I mean, you know that there are people who obviously who are faith-based, who literally it's like, doesn't matter, God gonna get us through.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying like I'm just bringing facts to the conversation. No, yeah. But is it faking it? Is it a fantasy? Is it real for them?
Look, it's a great question. To me, I do believe in that higher power. I believe in God, believe in Jesus Christ. That's my personal belief. I have grown to not ever condemn somebody who does not believe in that. Yeah. Because we all have our own experiences, our own outlook, and at the end of the day, so many arguments can be made for why it would be foolish to believe in that stuff.
Right.
Whereas the only argument that can be made about why we should believe in it is faith. But you can have faith in anything. And why are we having this faith? Because somebody told us we should. Like, that's a whole nother thing we don't have to get into right now. Yeah. But
it's important because it provides context into somebody's attitude.
Right. Now, when it comes to my attitude toward things that are going on in life and faith and all that, honestly, I don't try too hard to understand it. I don't try too hard to understand God's purpose in causing certain things in my life to happen. I don't try to understand it, because if I tried, I would drive myself crazy. Because I look at the world around me as well. Mm. And there are things that I refuse to believe God would let happen if he is all powerful.
Yeah.
And so I don't try to understand, because I could not understand. Now, I take it all the way back to my childhood and my father passing away 4 days before my birthday.
Yeah.
Like, what, God wants the best for us? So why'd you do that to me? That type of thing. Like,
But do you think that's God, though?
If he's the most powerful being, he shouldn't be letting these things happen. That's the way I would see it. Now, this is another thing. This is part of that insecurity thing. It relates to the insecurity thing and like not letting negative energy in.
Right.
Because for me, when it comes to faith, I've never even talked this much about it, to be honest with you, but I'm going to be real here. When it comes to faith, I mean, I'm already candid about the fact that I don't do religion.
Right.
Religion to me
it's man-made,
and it does way more harm than good. So,
I
might
push back on that a little bit.
It does way more harm than good. Religion gets people's heads chopped off, bro. You can't tell me religion stops love. It literally kills people.
Let me ask you a question, though, not to veer too much off course. You know how the world is, right? The good, the bad, the ugly, the evil. Could you imagine a world
without it?
No.
Without the structure.
No, but not even that. Could you imagine a world where people didn't believe that they had to answer to somebody?
Yeah, exactly. Now that is the good. That's the good. that's the good that comes with that. And I have acknowledged that before. But it's that the thing that I don't like about it is just that I've been in this position myself, bro. Like, you can have two people really like each other and under different circumstances would date each other. But because of religion, they don't even give it a shot. Like, they don't, because of religion.
Yeah.
And then you have people overseas getting their heads chopped off for refusing to denounce Christ.
Right.
Like, what? Like, come on, man.
Or the opposite.
Yeah. Right. So it's like, it is, in my opinion, a lot more harmful than it does good. But going back to what I was saying was like, the reason I don't like to talk about it so much is for the same reason that I was asking you about people who don't allow negative energy in. And it's an insecurity. So for me, to be honest, I'm scared of my own thoughts when it comes to my faith. I'm scared. There are times where I feel like, man, I'm like just a tap away. Just push me over the edge a little bit to being like, all right, man, I'm not going to believe in nothing. And because things just happen. But I've seen a lot of things happen that I will never go over the edge.
Yeah.
I'll always have some sort of belief. And I thank God for those things. I really do, bro, because if I had not seen those types of things happen, for example, my mom finding a card from my father in her car that we'd never had when my father was alive, but it was signed by my dad.
Wow.
Random. This is like double-digit years after he had passed already.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I never told you about that, bro. But it was some freaky.
You just found it in the car?
My mom just found it in her car. She was with my brother. They went into some store, came back, and they found this card. And it wasn't like it was old and dingy or nothing. Like it was from '98. No, bro.
It looked like a brand new card.
It's like a new card, not all bent up.
It's signed Dad?
No, it's signed Mark.
What?
Yeah. Yeah.
Bro, that's crazy.
It's wild. And I don't know how that happened. Like, I really don't know how that happened. Like, sure, is there a chance that it's a freak, maybe through storage units and stuff, we moved something into that car and a car just happened to slide out and all that, but I feel like it would have looked older. Yeah. Like it was like a new card. So there are things like that that I thank God for. I wasn't there to see it, but I know it happened.
Supernatural.
Yeah, I know it happened, and that alone will forever keep my faith, at least in knowing that there's somebody up there working.
Yeah.
But as far as the things that he does, we ain't ever gonna understand it, bro. Never. So I choose to just try to be a good person.
Question: Do you think it's possible that maybe you're not in tune with your faith and your relationship in God to say that?
Yep.
Because I mean, I'll be honest with you, and I'm a Christian and stuff, and I like going to church, and that's my personal belief is Jesus is Lord. But for me, I think free will is very important to have a healthy, sort of relationship with. It doesn't justify it for me, but what kind of keeps my head sane is knowing that God is supposed to give us free will. The damning part about that is I could be walking across the street minding my business at a walking light, and some dude can exercise their free will and run me over. Does that mean that God did it?
We all say that when it's our time, God will bring us home, right?
I don't necessarily believe that. I know that might be very hot to say, but I don't necessarily believe that.
Well,
the reason why I don't agree with that is because of free will. I think that we all have.
Who gave us free will?
God. You think you can take it away?
This is what I'm saying, though.
This conversation is going down.
I don't know, bro. We just completely took a 180. But look, man.
But it relates, people.
Look, if God gave us free will,
yeah.
If he gave that man that hit you with his car free will, you're still going on God's watch. You see what I'm saying? It's God giving us the free will that did that to you.
But it's allowance, man. Like, God created us in the image of him, right? Mm-hmm. He gave us
I guess. Shout out my man J. Cole, bro.
Hey.
The preacher said we was made in the image of Lord. To which I reply, are you sure?
Hey,
even the murderer?
Maybe not.
Even the whore?
No, but I mean more so like physically. God is said to have been man-made. Is said to have been a man, right?
Okay.
Jesus is the Son of God, whatever. Some people say God is a universe. It's all open to interpretation.
Some people say God is a woman.
Some people say God is a woman.
This is why I don't stress over faith, bro.
But let me just tell you this. I think that we all have a destiny. Mm-hmm. I firmly believe that. I think we all have a destiny. But destiny to me comes with implications. I don't think that your life is going to end up this way regardless of if you do this or not. You have the ability to tap into your destiny. Mm-hmm. But you also have the ability to veer off, right? So you can make decisions that go into your purpose and your destiny for your life and vice versa. So when I relate that to positivity is you have to have faith. Because if you don't, you're not going to tap into your destiny. Right. So I know we've been going on a whole different course, but
bro,
like
faith
I said,
is a different one.
I promise it relates, people, because you can't be positive without faith.
Very true.
You can't do it.
You can't. I mean, that being positive is literally that.
It's faith.
It's faith.
Yeah. Now, it doesn't matter what the faith is.
Well, actually, it's mostly faith, but it could just be confidence. You could know something. So, like,
but it's still faith. Faith has nothing to do with it being a spiritual thing. Faith is just the belief that this is going to happen, that something good is going to happen.
Yeah, but the belief is different from knowing. Believing something will happen.
But knowing is believing.
Knowing is believing, of course. Mm-hmm. But you can't know without believing. but you can believe without knowing. So they're a little bit different. When you know something,
but do you fully believe if you don't know? I know it can kind of be a psychological thing.
Do you fully believe if you don't know? No.
You don't think so?
I don't. Now, you'll have people in the church telling you all the time that they do know, and that's their faith and that's their belief. But like me, bro, I was just telling someone the other day, I wish sometimes that I would just have a dream or something where it was vivid, where something was shown to me in such undeniable fashion that I could no longer question it.
Is that car not your thing? Because I'm gonna tell you something. I've had very.
This is the thing. Hold on, time out. To answer your question, that card was that thing. As far as me believing in the higher power, believing that it's there,
right?
Spirits and all that, I believe in that.
Yeah.
But when it comes to what is expected of us, what is expected of the world, why are we here?
You don't understand that.
No, because there are things. First of all, the Bible, man-made. There are things in the Bible that I feel you would have to be a fool to agree with.
Yeah, personally, and I'm a Christian, I don't agree with everything in the Bible. I don't.
I don't either.
Yeah, and like I said, hot thing to say, but it just is what it is.
I agree with certain morality points.
Yeah.
So I try to keep the mindset of no, I would never mess with another man's wife or
don't lie, don't steal, don't.
No, lying is one of them. Everybody lies about something.
Yeah, but
sometimes lying could be a good thing.
Yeah.
So I don't agree with that. Yeah. I don't believe if your wife is asking you, baby, does this dress make me look fat? And I lie, I'm committing a sin. You know what I'm saying? There's just too many intricacies that are like, come on, bro. You expect us to be this perfect? And because I know that none of us can be this perfect, if that's what perfection is, I mean, that's the other thing, is like the Bible's man-made, yet we're like, okay, this is the end all be all. This is perfection here.
Yeah. Well, I mean, but the idea is that God spoke through these people.
That's the idea.
God speaks.
But did any of us meet these people?
No, but I mean, we're talking about 2,000 years ago.
Exactly.
A little over 2,000 years ago.
Yes, and that's the thing. Things change. The world changes, and we have to adapt.
Yeah.
The thing is the Bible is written based on what, 2,000 years ago? They foresaw everything that's going to happen today. They see it.
It's possible, but maybe obviously you think it could go the other way. I don't necessarily disagree with you. I think everyone, if they're honest, has had these thoughts. You know what I mean?
Hold that thought, just in case you guys don't see it here. This is exactly the type of stuff that happens that caused us to have this discussion.
Yeah.
I guess I'm being pessimistic here. Nick is just trying his best to remain positive.
No. But I mean, here's the thing. Here's how I look at it. What's the other option, man?
Exactly. I look at it that way too.
What's the other option? Because I'll just be honest with you. If we're being real, some of the happiest people in the world are a little delusional.
Yes.
Not delusional in I'm giving a negative connotation, but I literally sometimes I might go to the beach, or I might just you know how you just look at somebody and you're like, damn, they're so happy. And it's like you wish you could be that happy.
Yeah.
And it
takes work.
It does. And it's also something that you have to get in tune with yourself, because it can't be brought on by any exterior things. Although I believe that, money solves a lot of problems, it can't solve everything.
No.
You know what I mean? Like, it gets rid of like first world problems, but it's not going to give you fulfillment in your soul.
No, it's not.
That's why a lot of rich people commit suicide and
for sure. I mean, more money, more problems is not that wasn't coined by accident.
Yeah.
Like, that is facts.
Yeah.
I'm not rich, but I have lived that myself.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
definitely.
You come into a certain amount of money and people act like you rich.
Yeah.
People act like you got $1 million.
Yeah.
I don't.
I mean, I just feel like there's two options, man. You can either look at the miracle and everything, or you can look at the worst and everything. For me, it's two ways to live. You don't have to. You can look at the miracle and everything and still acknowledge what is happening. There is a way to do it.
Yeah, but that's the thing. It's like, what about the middle ground?
But like, I mean,
I feel like the middle ground is what it takes to get to the miracle.
No, because you can't see the miracle if you think in a certain way.
Well, honestly, actually, a miracle is what it is because you get to it without a middle ground.
Yeah.
So that's the thing. But what's more likely?
What? As far as what?
What's more likely to occur? A miracle? Or, well, I mean, why is it called a miracle, Nick?
I get where you're going.
You know what I'm saying? So how am I going to occupy my mind more with a miracle than reality when reality is what's more likely to keep occurring?
No. But I'm not arguing reality versus,
You're
miracles.
just talking about reality. You're talking about miracles versus the worst possible.
Exactly.
But the worst possible thing is, well, I'll say this.
Because like I said, there's a difference between acknowledging what's happening and going towards a conclusion. What I can't stand, not saying like I'm getting on nobody, I can't stand when something is happening to someone and they're already going to make up a conclusion of what's going to happen after that. Yeah. You ain't even got there yet.
Yeah, it's just true.
Like, focus on what you got to do right now. And if that happens, then cross that bridge.
Yeah.
But we have a tendency to create all of these unforeseen conclusions. We haven't even gotten there. We worried about what's going to happen next week. And we ain't even gotten to next week. What if I die tomorrow? What happens next week? That don't matter to me.
Don't matter.
I mean, I'm not trying to think like that, but I'm just saying, like, we get ahead of ourselves.
We do. I know I definitely do.
Mm-hmm. You definitely do.
Yeah, I do sometimes. There are times, I'll admit, there are times where I can be extremely negative.
Thank you, man. I just wanted to hear you say.
Look, man, I've never.
I just needed some admittance.
Look, bro, I'll admit that self-awareness is the key, but I do also feel like there are times when I'm just being real, and that you can't necessarily. But the thing is I find times where I feel very optimistic, and those times I may not speak on it.
Mm-hmm. But you need to give that a voice.
But I feel it, and the thing is, in those moments, I always understand. I always look at the fact that, like, hey, I'm feeling very optimistic right now.
Mm-hmm.
Based on my experience, I recognize that there will be times where things aren't going as well.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to have to and I'm going to be down in the dumps about it a little bit. But the more it happens, the more I realize that it's only a chapter. It's only a season. It's only an hour. It's only, a week, a day, whatever.
Right.
But I'll come through it and I will have better days again.
Yeah.
And I think the more we realize that, the better off we are. And it becomes about not looking forward to the days that we're experiencing those negative feelings or negative thoughts or whatever.
Yeah.
Instead of like knowing that those days are going to come and living as if those are going to rule you, kind of.
Yeah.
You just try to, I mean, you take them for what they are.
Yeah.
You just take them for what they are. I think you can't ignore them fully.
Yeah.
You can't. If you ignore them fully, you're lying to yourself.
Yeah, definitely.
That's my thing. But it's an everyday battle to maintain this level of just a level head, really.
Yeah.
It's just an everyday battle.
Dude, life is tough, man.
Yeah.
It is tough. Like no one told us as kids how tough this would be.
Man.
Seriously. And I'm kind of just scratching the surface a little bit, but I've had situations that are kind of, exceed my years a little bit. You know what I mean?
Same.
Like and I, to be honest with you, this conversation kind of just made me think about, next week. Like, I told you, obviously I got a birthday coming up. I'm not really in the celebratory mood, man. Like I've had a lot going on this year and I'm very hard on myself.
Mm-hmm.
And it's hard for me to celebrate things when I'm not.
You've been that way for years, bro.
Yeah.
I've been trying to tell you, like, bro, it's not about, this is where, we're having a moment right now within this conversation we're talking about where I have to decide whether to just feel you on this or to kind of talk you out of that negative mindset.
Mm.
So the script is kind of flipped.
Yeah, for sure.
But look, man, I want you to understand that when it comes to celebrating your birthday, you're not celebrating anything else that's going on in your life other than the fact that you were blessed with another day, another year. That's it, man. And that alone is worth celebrating. So you don't have to think about what bad thing happened on a real estate deal or whatever, health-wise or whatever.
All right.
On our birthdays, we always have something to celebrate. Always, bro. Because you're breathing.
Yeah.
And that's what a birthday is about. It's the day that you took your first breath and you're celebrating that.
And man, get all that toxic positivity away from me. I'm just fine. No, that's a good point.
That's it, man. I mean, and the only way somebody shouldn't really want to be celebrating their birthday is if they don't want to live. That's it.
Yeah.
That's the way I see it. But with that being said,
we got to end on a much happier note than that. You just talking about somebody ending their life.
Bro, I mean, I'm just saying, it's a happy note. I'm telling you, be happy about your birthday. But, man, we have reached a time limit, man. I know. You know.
Let me ask you a question. Just out of the three, pessimism, realism, optimism, what do you think is the best? If you had to pick one way to think the rest of your life, which do you think is most advantageous?
Realism. I'll tell you why. Realism is the happy medium that allows you to be optimistic enough that you're not always stressed out, yet realistic enough to understand when you have an issue, you've got to do something to get out of it. Optimism to me is, Lord, take the wheel. Just saying. So,
you're an idiot.
Realism is, I should turn the wheel, or else something bad is going to happen.
I can see how you could. Yeah.
You see what I mean?
I mean, I really, because I'm optimistic, but I'm very like individual with my optimism. I feel like God is my partner. Like he's not going to do everything for me. He's going to give me the ability to do it, and I got to do it myself.
Right. So, I think that's a form of realism, though.
You think?
Yeah. Because that's like I said, it's a form, like you have enough optimism in that to understand that good things can happen.
Yeah.
But the realistic part is knowing that it's not going to happen unless I do my part.
F it. I guess I'm just a realist too. All right.
You're just a little bit more a little bit more optimistic of a realist.
Oh yeah, definitely.
But you a realist, man. You just, But yeah. All right. Is that a more positive note for you?
Yeah, it is.
All right. Well, y'all, I know we got off topic a little bit somewhat, but it was all interesting, I think. So we hope you enjoyed this episode. If you did, as usual, even though we ain't really seeing much lately, but hopefully this will be a change. Like, subscribe, comment below.
Let us know what you think.
Yeah,
all
honestly, right. There's never too many things to talk about. So if you have any ideas you want to hear,
criticisms, whatever.
Yeah. You think I'm tripping? Let me know. But yeah, we out.